Look at him! He's still trying to power scale total drama characters in the year 2021.
What a loser!
Yes, I'm back once again trying to power scale total drama characters. This time, focusing on the weakest of the weak rather than the strongest of the strong. Thanks for over 100,000 views on the strongest video too, by the way. I didn't think that many people actually cared about total drama power scaling. I feel like I thought out this list a little bit better than the last one too, because a good amount of y'all were not very pleased with the fact that I didn't include characters like Izzy, Sierra, or Eva on the list, which is completely understandable, and in hindsight, I think Izzy at the very least should have been on there. Of course, I want to once again preface that even though videos about strongest characters and or weakest characters are supposed to be objective, Total Drama is an incredibly obscure franchise to power scale, so there'll probably be more disagreements with this list than if I made a top 10 strongest One Piece characters or something of that nature. You're of course free to tell me in the comments below who you think should have been on this list or a character who shouldn't have been on, but replaced by insert contestant here. I'd love to know your thoughts. Enough jibber jabber though, let's do this. Taking the number 10 spot, making them the strongest of the week, is Cameron. Already off to a semi-controversial start here, huh, Mark? I want to give Cameron credit for being one of the smartest characters in the entire series, being able to think pretty quickly in serious situations and being enough of a threat to characters like Lightning with enough prep time. That's the crucial factor though. Prep time. He's not able to realistically defend himself in most situations against even mid-tier level characters like Scott. This is due to the fact that he's incredibly weak in terms of physical strength and speed and endurance. Being physically bested by characters like Mal, Joe, Lightning, and the Mutant Gophers, all with incredible ease from these opponents. For speed, he was one of, if not the slowest contestant amongst the Revenge of the Island cast, as seen in the episode Ice Ice Baby when he finished in dead last in the race to the cliff, then proceeded to throw up in a bush right after that. His incredibly small stature and lightweight aren't very good selling points either. Obviously, this was exaggerated, but I remember in one of his confessionals, he showed the cameras he weighed less than a small doll. No wonder Mal was able to pick him up with such ease. Being a bubble boy definitely didn't do him any favors either. Camp Wawanakwa was his first experience of the real world, which he didn't experience until the age of 16, so it's totally understandable as to why he's so weak in the physical department. I love Cam. He's one of my favorites from the Revenge of the Island era, and with prep time, he's like, kind of like Batman. He can probably win a good amount of matchups, but without an opportunity for said time, he gets washed pretty easily. Next up is Cody. Although Cody made it incredibly far in Total Drama World Tour, which in my opinion was the most challenging season for Total Drama contestants to date along with Redonkulous Race, mainly due to how much variety there was when it came to the challenges, since every new challenge took place in a different country, continent, or island. However, the only reason Cody made it as far as he did in World Tour was thanks to the constant help from Sierra through every single challenge until Hawaii. I also feel like that's a big reason why people found him a bit annoying during that season. Yeah, Sierra was crazy, but Cody would have been long gone before Final 3 if it wasn't for her. He was straight up luggage on Team Amazon. He does have some redeeming qualities, like having semi-decent survival skills, like knowing how to start a fire on the fly and using his bag of candy in Area 51 to help his team escape, but for the most part, he's just scuffed Cameron, smart but not smart enough to construct an entire Iron Man suit with enough prep time. Yeah, he knocked Duncan out his ass, but that was a sucker punch. Like, come on. Cody has literally never acted out of violence until that moment, so it's totally understandable for Duncan to not expect a punch like that. We were given the illusion that he was giving Alejandro a run for his money when they had their 1v1 in Hawaii, but Al was not taking it seriously at all. Plus, Cody got hit so hard off the platform he went airborne for a little bit. His deadly allergies that require an EpiPen make him a lot more vulnerable than the average Total Drama character too. Remember when Sierra had to suck the poison out of his finger when he got bit by an ant? Yeah. The number 8 spot goes to Dawn.
What? What?
Now, before y'all kill me, I know the majority of the Total Drama fandom loves Dawn, and I'm included in that majority. I like her a lot too, but you gotta admit, she probably can't hold their own in a fight. She's got some of the highest pacifist energy I've seen in any Total Drama character. Scott was the only one who was able to push her buttons mentally, but it's not like she lost her mind over it or anything. She was mainly looking out for the rest of her team, and rightfully so. Scott was a total dick during those early episodes. Dawn's strongest strengths are being able to read the auras of others, which unknown to her has caused contestants to become super scared / uncomfortable around her, along with the fact that she's able to use this mental strength of hers to communicate with wild creatures, even ones mutated by toxic waste. If she ever wanted to use this mental connection with wildlife to fight for her, that would be pretty cool and interesting. However, Dawn doing something like that would be incredibly out of character for her, so I don't know if I can even properly call that a feat. There was also that part in the first episode where she mysteriously got to shore first and was completely dry, hinting at potential supernatural powers, but again, she's so against the violence that I couldn't even see her using these skills in terms of self-defense. If we saw more of her though, maybe I could have been proven wrong. Very unfortunate. Next up is Disney Princess Ella. I don't have a whole lot to say about Ella besides her mainly being a worse version of Dawn in terms of abilities. Both of them can get animals to do things for them, however, Ella doesn't have the same knowledge about people's auras / potential supernatural powers as Dawn. She just sings. Ella was also a pacifist in nature, always trying to befriend Sugar no matter how nasty Sugar was to her, and she never defended herself against this harassment. And this also applies to Chris's behavior towards her. She got beaten a challenge by Max of all people, granted with Scarlett's help, but still. Ella is at least shown to be light on her feet, which was shown by her little performance with the pig in I Love You, Grease Pig. However, this scene also showed it's possible for animals to be broken out of her hypnotic song powers with just loud noises. Most of her screen time was either her singing or getting bullied by Sugar, so not a whole lot to go off of, but I think most people can agree with me that she's not much of a fighter or mental gymnast. Coming in at number 6 is Max, the Master of Evil. Max is somewhat similar to Cam in the sense that if he had prep time, he could do some real damage. Potentially more destructive damage than Cam due to his evil nature. However, Max was never able to pull off these schemes successfully without Scarlett's help. A lot of Max's purpose in Pocket 2, at least to me, was to build up Scarlett's reveal / bring out more of her true nature little by little with every idiotic thing he would say or do. He had solid evil ideas, but suffered from what I'd like to call Professor Finbar Calamitous syndrome, where he could never finish any plan he came up with efficiently. Built an entire mind control device to use on animals that technically worked, but forgot something as simple as connecting 2 wires to power it on. I get he was supposed to be a comedy villain, but nobody ever took him seriously. He was easily overpowered by both Scarlett and Jasmine. I had Jasmine in the top 10 strongest, but the gap between these two is huge. His dub on Ella was pretty cool though. Honestly, I feel like he and Ella could be interchangeable with their placings on this list. You know, this list in general is pretty close in placings to begin with, but these two are probably the closest in my opinion. For number 5, we have Mickey, one of the members of the Adversity Twins from the Ridonkulous race. Even for those who haven't watched the Ridonkulous race season, since it was pretty low-key compared to the previous ones, I'm sure you can tell just by this kid being part of a team called the Adversity Twins, he isn't the most lucky or victorious individual. You've ever seen that Ed, Edd and Eddy episode with the cursed phone? Mickey and his twin brothers Jay's lives are like that all the time. He's got about the same build as Cameron, but gets rolled in the competition twice as much due to his horrible luck. He gets nosebleeds when he goes up high places too fast, hallucinated from exhaustion after climbing several flights of stairs, has a fear of pencils, has eczema, and a plethora more of weaknesses. Although his brother Jay is damn near equally weak in his own right, it felt like Mickey got rolled on screen a lot more than Jay did, and appeared to have more ailments / weaknesses revealed on screen than Jay. For God's sakes, the boy wears a safety helmet. I think his best showing of strength was in the Transylvania episode when he was able to carry Jay to the grave, but he still struggled pretty hard overall with that task. But props to both of them for never refusing to give up. Next up is Beardo. This guy was only in one episode of Pocket 2, so there weren't a ton of feats shown by him. He's just a complete idiot, to be honest. I get the lore behind his sound effect thing is that he's so shy around people when he first meets them that he just does the sound effects until he's able to warm up to them, but that doesn't change the fact that this weird quirk of his ends up getting himself hurt while being in the state of mind. Literally ran in slow motion for the sake of the meme. I can just imagine this dude would be the type of person to act like Patrick from that Salty Spittoon episode if he ever got into a fight, regardless of how strong or weak they are. He's a decently built dude though, so maybe he could hold his own a little when it comes down to it. However, it's hard to be that optimistic given his showings in the first episode. I know it never would have happened, but a cool concept would have been if Beardo had the ability to turn his sound effects into physical attacks. For example, if he made an explosion sound effect, an explosion would happen and he can control where the explosion occurred. I'm sure Beardo would have made it to the finals if he could do that. Sadie takes the number 3 spot. Easily had some of the lowest intelligence out of the entire OG Total Drama cast, along with her BFF Katie and Lindsay. At least Lindsay had a lot more redeeming qualities, and her ditziness was actually funny, unlike Katie and Sadie's. I kind of found those annoying. She just has about no redeeming qualities whatsoever in terms of physical strength or speed. She and Katie got lost in the woods due to not following their team's orders. She got herself eliminated by not listening to Courtney in Who You Can Trust. Sadie and Katie both tunnel vision super hard, and I feel like they have selective hearing. The only reason I didn't put Katie with Sadie, because I almost did, was because I remembered Katie was doing pretty decent work in the dodgeball match, landing solid shots on the Gophers and managing to outrun Cody's electric homing ball for a decent while before inevitably getting hit. Props to Cody on that though. That was his most impressive moment in the series to date in my opinion, and it happened in episode 3. We're giving the silver medal to Miss Stacy, the girl related to literally every significant human being from history supposedly. Once again, the Beardo case where she was only in a single episode, so there's not a ton to go off of. I'm sure y'all are seeing a trend at this point that most of the characters on this list got eliminated incredibly early in the competitions, most of them before the team mergers. Stacy was just all bark, no bite. Did nothing but brag about her family tree to the point where it got her eliminated in the first episode because of how annoyed her teammates became with her. You know you fucked up if B, of all people, is giving you the stink eye. I feel like even if she somehow made it further in the competition by piggybacking off her teammates like Katie and Sadie mostly did, she still would have gotten eliminated pretty early. The only show of strength, if you want to call it that, she displayed was being able to balance herself on Sam's shoulders, but if it wasn't for B's plan, there's no shot she would have been able to do that willingly. Want to know the reason why she isn't number 1? Because on the off chance she hasn't been lying about her family history, then perhaps she's related to the person person who invented karate or kung fu. Call it a dumb reason, but I'm sticking to it. Fight me. Now for our last space spot, the weakest character in all of Total Drama.
Go back to the shadows of Wawanakwa. You shall not.
Leonard the LARPer is so useless, it's actually kind of impressive in a bad way. He's so caught up in his wizard fantasy roleplay that he's become completely detached from reality. Even on the brink of potential death, he'll be trying to cast spells to save himself, outright refusing to do challenges in a normal manner, likely because he's too afraid to admit to himself that he's super weak, so he plays it off as his spells don't work / people don't believe in him. Not to mention Sean, who's a good judge on people's physical capabilities, ranked Leonard the weakest of the entire Pocket 2 Island cast.
My preference based strictly on physical ability? Jasmine, Rodney, Dave, Sammy, Topher, Scarlet, Amy, Max, Beardo, Sugar, anyone but Leonard.
If Leonard actually could use magic, that'd be sick as hell, and I probably wouldn't find him as annoying as I currently do. Hell, he might have been able to make the top 10 strongest list if he actually could. That is simply not the case, though. Leonard, this is the last thing I'm gonna say about you.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
Power scaling for weak characters definitely felt more obscure than it did for strong characters, since a lot of these guys didn't have a whole lot of screen time, since usually the strong characters either make it super far in the competition, compete in more than one season, or both. Once again, I implore you guys to discuss different placing / replacements for this list if you didn't agree with parts of it, or any of it. I feel like the list I made this time around is less controversial, for lack of a better term, since I didn't include Izzy, Sierra, Dakota Zoid, etc. in the top 10 strongest. Speaking of that video though, I would like to make some kind of follow-up video talking about more strong characters, but I'm not sure how to go about titling it. The strongest Total Drama characters, number 11 through 20? That just feels really specific and weird. I don't know. I'll see what happens. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like down below. It helps me out a ton. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.